The insulin VYL sat on my kitchen counter, glinting under the fluorescent light, but something was off. It was cloudy, murky, like someone had stirred poison into the clear liquid my 8-year-old daughter, Lily, needed to serve VYV her type 1 diabetes. I'm a nurse, 10 years in the ER, so I know what insulin should look like. This wasn't it. My heart slammed against my ribs as I stared at it, the weight of what I'd found sinking in. Someone had tampered with my little girl's medicine. Someone wanted her dead. I wasn't just scared, I was furious. I'd tear the world apart to find who did this. Lily was at the dining table, her tiny hands scribbling a picture of a daisy, humming a tune from her favorite show. Her hazel eyes sparkled, oblivious to the nightmare I'd just uncovered. She'd been diagnosed at 5, and every day was a battle. But her giggle, her messy brown curls, her trust in Methy kept me going. "Mom, is my shot ready?" she asked, her voice sweet, crayon scattered like confetti. I forced a smile, my voice steady despite the panic clawing my chest. "Not yet, honey. Let's eat some cereal first." I slipped the VYL into my pocket, grabbed my phone, and rushed to my bedroom. My hand shook as I dialed Dr. Ellis, our endocrinologist. "Claire, get that VYL to the clinic now," he said, his tone sharp. I scooped up Lily's stuffed bunny, her comfort toy, and hustled her to the car, my mind screaming. So what if I'd given her that dose? What if I'd lost her? The drive to the hospital was torture. Lily sang softly in the back seat, clutching her bunny, her curls bouncing. She looked so small, so fragile, and the thought of someone targeting her twisted my gut. At the clinic, Dr. Ellis tested the VYL. His face went ashen. "Claire, this isn't just insulin. It's laced with ethylene glycolantifreeze. Lethal. If you'd injected this, Lily wouldn't have lasted hours." The words hit like a sledgehammer. Poison. In my daughter's medicine. I gripped Lily's hand as she swung her legs on the exam table, humming, unaware she'd brushed against death. "Who would do this?" I whispered, tears burning. Dr. Ellis's voice was firm but kind. "Call the police." This was deliberate. Back home, Officer Daniels arrived, notepad in hand, eyes scanning my kitchen. I told her about the locked fridge where I kept Lily's insulin, the key always on me. My mind zeroed in on Brenda, our neighbor across the street. Brenda was all smiles to your face, but pure venom behind it. Last year, I'd organized a fundraiser for Lily's medical bills, raising enough for a new insulin pump. Brenda called it a scam, spreading lies that I was faking Lily's illness for attention. Neighbors had whispered about her cruel words, but I'd ignored them until now. She was here last week. I told Daniels, my voice tight. Brought a pie. Said it was neighborly. I left her alone for a minute to grab Lily's sketchbook upstairs. Daniels nodded, jotting it down. "Anyone else?" I shook my head. No one. Brenda was the only one near the fridge. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat by Lily's bed, watching her chest rise and fall, her bunny tucked under her arm. Her soft snores were a reminder of how close I'd come to losing her. The idea that someone hated us enough to poison her insulin lit a fire in me. I wasn't just a mom anymore, I was a hunter. The next day, the police searched Brenda's house. They found antifreeze in her garage and a syringe matching the ones I used for Lily. Brenda screamed. She was being framed, her face flushed as she stood on her porch. The EVY Denke was strong, but her lawyer was slick. In court, he claimed the antifreeze was for her car, the syringe for some craft project. The judge, citing weak direct EVY Denke, let her out on bail. I was Leave EYD. She nearly killed my daughter, and there she was, strutting out of the courthouse, smirking like she'd won. My fists clenched as I watched her climb into her car, her smug grin taunting me. The system had failed us, but I wouldn't. Brenda lived across the street, her curtains always half open, her arrogance on display. I started watching her, learning her routine, jogging at dawn, sipping coffee at the corner cafe, tending her prized tulips every afternoon. Those tulips were her obsession, entered in every local contest, her ego tied to their perfect petals. An idea sparked. I bought a pesticide harmless to people, but deadly to plants, and mixed it into a spray bottle. Late at night, I crept into her yard, my pulse pounding. I misted her tulips just enough to make them wilt by morning, then slid a note under her door. Saw you poison my daughter. Your tulips are first. Confess or it gets worse. Saw. At dawn, Brenda's screams woke the neighborhood. Her tulips were drooping, petals falling like shattered dreams. She stood in her yard, clutching my note, her face pale. I watched from my window, my heart racing. She didn't call the police. Instead, she tore through her garden, digging like she expected more sabotage. I'd shaken her, but Brenda was stubborn. She didn't confess. Worse, she spread lies that I was harassing her, turning some neighbors against me. Whispers followed me at the store, eyes judging me as I pushed my cart. I couldn't let her win. I tailed her for days, noting every move. One evening, I saw her sneak into her backyard shed with a black bag. Mygot screamed she was hiding something. When she left, I picked the shed's lock with a hairpin trick I'd learned from a nurse years ago. Inside, I found bottles of chemicals, syringes, and a notebook detailing insulin doses and poisoning methods. My hands trembled as I snapped photos with my phone. This was the proof we needed, but I didn't trust the police to act fast enough. Brenda had slipped through once. I had to make sure she'd never hurt anyone again. Her tulips hadn't broken her, so I planned something darker. My late husband had a storage unit with his hunting gear, including a metal cage big enough for a person. A chilling idea formed. Brenda needed to feel the terror she'd put Lily through, the helplessness of being trapped. I wasn't a criminal, but I was a mother pushed too far. I waited for Brenda's next jog through the woods behind our street. I followed, staying in the shadows. When she stopped to tie her shoe, I moved fast, pressing a cloth with a mild sedative left over from my nursing days over her mouth. She fought, but my rage gave me strength. I dragged her to my car and drove to the storage unit, adrenaline flooding my veins. Inside, I locked her in the cage. When she woke, her eyes were wild with panic. "Claire, let me out." "You're crazy," she screamed, gripping the bars. "Crazy," I said, my voice cold as steel. "You poisoned Lily's insulin. You tried to kill an 8-year-old. "I didn't mean it," she sobbed. "I just wanted to scare you, make you look bad." "Scare me," I roared. "You could have killed her. She's a child, Brenda." I showed her the photos, chemicals, syringes, her notebook. Her face crumpled. "How'd you get those?" she whispered. "Confess," I said, "on VY Deo, or you stay here." She refused, sobbing, but the cage, the isolation, broke her. After hours, she cracked. On VY Deo, she admitted sneaking into my house, mixing antifreeze into the insulin, driven by jealousy over our fundraiser. She hated how we laughed, how I seemed like the perfect mom. I stopped recording, my hands shaking with relief. I'd won. I left her in the cage a few more hours, letting her stew in her guilt, then drove her home. "Come near us again, and this VY Deo goes straight to the police," I warned. She nodded, broken, and stumbled into her house, her arrogance gone. The next day, I took the VY Deo to Officer Daniels. Brenda was arrested within hours, charged with attempted murder. The EVY didn't say her confession. The photos, the antifreeze was ironclad. The judge denied bail, and Brenda faced years in prison. The neighborhood rallied around us, horrified by her actions. They brought casseroles, toys for Lily, apologies for belied VY-ing Brenda's lies. Our community knit back together, stronger. Lily didn't know the whole truth, and I was grateful. She was back to drawing daisies, her laughter filling our home. But I'd changed. I'd always been a protector, but now I knew the lengths I'd go to keep her safe. That evening, I sat with Lily, her small hand in mine, as she showed me her latest drawing a daisy under a starry sky. "It's you, Mom," she said, her smile wide. "You make everything okay." I hugged her, tears in my eyes. Brenda had tried to take her from me, but she'd failed. Lily was alive, her hazel eyes bright with hope. That was my VY Tory. Now, I want to hear from you. Was I wrong to take justice into my own hands, locking Brenda in that cage? Should I have trusted the police, even after they let her walk free? Where do you draw the line between protecting your family and becoming the monster? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if this story gripped you, and subscribe for more real-life dramas that'll keep you on edge. Where are you watching from? Let me know below.